garden, in a vast garden, there stood an old tree, the tallest among all, the most admired among all, and the most beautiful among all. The birds nested in its branches, and every one praised its beauty and its strength. But over the years, as the years passed, the tree began to wither. One day, a young sapling started to grow just near to it. The sapling was vibrant, fresh, full of life, and looked so beautiful. Now, birds started to visit, and gardeners came to water it daily without fail. Now, what was the reaction of the old tree? The old tree grew jealous, felt abandoned, feared, and felt insecure because this young sapling was growing more and more better than this old tree. In its bitterness, the old tree started to drop its dry leaves on the sapling just to block the sunlight and just to block its growth. But the sapling kept growing more and more stronger each day, not because it wanted to replace the old tree. See, the intention of the young sapling was very clear. It didn't want to replace the old tree, but because it was simply fulfilling its purpose. Eventually, the old tree realized finally its mistake and started to share its wisdom and share just to help these young sapling to grow even better. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, the first reading is taken from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 5, verses 17 to 26. The old tree in the story represents the Sadducees. The young sapling in the story represents the apostles. The Sadducees were growing in pride and jealousy, whereas the apostles were growing in truth, humility, love, grace, and good character. Like the Sadducees, we may sometimes feel threatened when others rise and succeed. But my dear brothers and sisters, the true growth does not come from our status. But remember, the true growth comes from serving God with humility. When we grow in jealousy and pride, just like the Sadducees in the first reading and just like the old tree in the story, we began to wither in our spiritual life. Or instead, when we grow in grace, love, truth, and good character, just like the apostles and the young sapling, we start to bear more fruit in abundance. The truth is this, my dear brothers and sisters, growth in others does not make your light dim. When you find the prosperity of wisdom and knowledge in others does not make your light dim. Rather, we make the world where we are more and more brighter. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, let us not choose to grow in jealousy. Jealousy makes us blind. Once we become blind spiritually, we fail to see good in others and appreciate good in others. Therefore,